Hi, everybody. Welcome back. You have made it to Crazy Kids Coding, where each week we release a new coding class. These classes are designed for kids ages 6 to 12, but anybody is welcome to take them. Each class takes about 60 minutes. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you can follow along with us. Today, we're going to be learning how to build a code for jumping. So we'll be creating an entire video game, and having our character jump will be one of the main components. Now, before we get started, I have just a couple of really quick announcements. So down at the bottom, underneath the video in the description, I've included a few links. One of those is where you can go if you're interested in taking a live class with us. So we do offer live classes. These are anywhere from 3 to 9 students, and those are held several times throughout the week. So if you're interested in that, there is a link below for that. We also just started a Facebook group where you can share the link to your projects. I know a lot of you will have your parents help you with that. Your parents can go into the group and they can post a link to the video game that you created today so that other kids can go in and check out your video game. Maybe leave some comments or a thumbs up on that. And you can also go see other people's projects. And the cool part about that is you're not only going to be able to see what their video game looks like, you'll be able to see that the code that they used to create it. So if you're interested in that, check out our Facebook group. And I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get started. So you will need 2 screens if possible. If you only have 1 screen, you can make it work. But if you have 2 screens, that's an awesome way to be able to watch this YouTube video on 1 screen. And then on another screen, you'll be building your own video game and you can follow along. If you only have 1 screen, you can pause the video and kind of flip back and forth between the 2 windows. You will need a keyboard and a mouse. So make sure if you have like a tablet, you're using the tablet to watch the YouTube video and a computer to build your video game. Okay. Now you need to go to the Scratch website. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. This is a very awesome website that you can use to create all sorts of projects, games, animations. You will want an account on here if possible. That will allow you to be able to save your game after you build it today. So again, down underneath the video, in the video description, there is a link to this website. You can also see the website address right up here in the top left corner. It's scratch.mit.edu. This is just something you need to set up once. You may need to grab an adult to help you with that. But once you've got your Scratch account, you can jump into these videos each week and it'll be really easy to follow along once you've done your first one. All right, now we are going to create a new project today. So up here in the top left corner, we have this option for create. Go ahead and click on that. This starts a brand new project. Okay. Now, if you are totally new to Scratch, we do have an intro video. I'll post that as well. If you want to go watch that intro video, it gives a really good breakdown of all of the components of Scratch if you're brand new. But if you don't want to watch that, I'll explain things thoroughly today so you can just follow along. Okay, now let's go ahead and first pick out the background for our video game today. So if you'll start off over here on the right side of the screen, click on this thing that says stage. And then up in the top left corner, we've got some tabs here. We're going to start out on the backdrop tab, okay? We're going to go pick out a backdrop. So down in the bottom left corner, there's a blue circle. Go ahead and click on that. This takes you to the Scratch library where there are tons of different backdrops to choose from. I like to go with something kind of simple so that I can really see what my video game looks like. Okay, I'm going to go with this one called Blue Sky. But if you pick something different, that's totally fine. Now see up here in the top right corner, this is my video game, and now I have a backdrop. If your backdrop is something maybe that doesn't have the ground, maybe you picked out this plain blue one, what you'll need to do is draw the ground, okay? So if you have a backdrop like mine, where you have a little ground along the bottom, you can skip this step. If you don't have that, follow along with me. This will take just a second. You're going to go back up to your code tab up in the top left corner. And then we need to create our ground. So down here in the bottom right corner, there's this little cat face and a paintbrush. Go ahead and click on that paintbrush. This allows you to draw something. Now, the first step is to pick out your color. So right now we're on purple. If you don't want purple, click on that purple square and use these little slider bars, okay? I'm just going to make mine like a really dark color, almost black. Then you can grab this little square tool. Go ahead and click on that square. And all you need to do is draw a big, long rectangle along the bottom. See how there's a big square here? Now, if you maybe drew yours up here somewhere crazy, that's okay. You can just grab it and pull it down. And look up here on your game. See how I have the ground now? I can even grab it up on my game and move it around if I want to. Okay, so that's one option. If you have a background like I had, where you already have the ground, then you don't need to worry about that step. So I'm going to go ahead and delete mine. Okay, next thing we need to do is we need to pick out our character. So I'm not really interested in being a cat. If you want to be a cat, you can leave this guy here. If you want to get rid of him, go ahead and use this little garbage can to delete him. And then we need to pick a new character. And in Scratch, our characters, or all the little icons down here, are called sprites. So we're going to go in right now and pick out our sprite. So go to that little cat face again, and this time use the magnifying glass that says choose a sprite. All right, now there's a lot of different characters in here. So be thinking about what type of video game are you going to have today? Are you using people or animals? For my video game, I think I'm going to be, let me look around. Okay, I'm going to be a dinosaur. So I'll just click on the dinosaur. And now I can see he's popped up here on my game. Now he's really big. I want to shrink him down a bit. I don't like quite how big he is. So right above your sprites, it says size 100. The smaller the number here, the smaller your sprite will be. I'm going to turn my dinosaur down to a 30. Okay, you can try out different numbers and see what you like. Once you've adjusted their size, go ahead and grab your character and bring him down to the ground. Okay, I don't need my dinosaur flying up in the sky, right? Okay, next thing we need to do is we're going to give our video game some music. So let's go back to our stage. Go ahead and click on stage again over on the right side. And this time we're going to start building our coding blocks. Now over here on the left side of the screen, these are all of our coding blocks. I want you to think of those kind of like Legos or building blocks. And when we hook them together, they give the instructions to our game to tell it what we want it to do. Now the coding blocks are organized by color. So the first block that we need is yellow. So I know, oh, okay, I need to go click on the yellow circle, and that will take me to all of the yellow coding blocks. So click on that yellow circle. It says events on it. And see this top block with the green flag on it? What you're going to do is you're going to grab that green flag and just drop it out here and drop it out right in the center. You can kind of zoom in and out of your code. You can drag it around. It doesn't really matter where you put it. Just drop it out there somewhere. Okay, the second coding block that we need is going to be orange. So click on your orange control circle, and we're looking for the third coding block down. It has the word forever on it. This is called the forever loop, and you're going to pull that forever loop out and connect it right underneath your green flag. If you have trouble with it, just kind of keep dragging around until you get it. Once there's a shadow right there, that's when I know I can drop it. Okay, our final coding block that we need for music is going to be purple. Now, right here, I have a purple circle. Well, it's kind of pinkish that says sound on it. This is where you find all of your coding blocks that have anything to do with sound effects or music. And the block we want is the very top one. It says play sound until done. So go ahead and bring that out and drop that inside your forever loop. Okay, now here's the fun part. We've got to pick out our music. So when I click on this drop-down menu here, the only sound effect in this block is called pop. And if I turn my game on, I'm going to hear that sound effect. So the way you turn your game on is up here, this little green flag in the top right corner. Go ahead and click on that. You should hear a whole bunch of popping sounds. That's not going to make some good music, right? So let's replace that with a song. So in the top left corner, you've got some tabs. Click on the sound tab. This shows you all of the sound effects for our stage. So let's come down here, bottom left corner. We're going to click on that blue circle. Okay, here are all of the Scratch library sound effects. Now, the ones that sound more like music are called loops. So click on this blue thing up here that says loops. And then just hover your mouse over the purple circle and you'll be able to hear the different songs. When you find one that you like, click on it and it will add it to your code. Okay, I'm going to go with Techno 2. So just click on that. And now over here in my far left menu, or in the menu on the far left side of my screen, I have two different sound effects. So go ahead and pause this video and take a few minutes and go pick out your music. Sometimes tapping on the space bar is a really easy way to pause the video, so you can give that a try. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back to our code tab. Now in our little drop-down menu here, that new sound effect that you picked out should be available. So I'm gonna pick Techno 2. Okay, let me read you our code. What it says is, all right, Mr. Video Game, when I click on the green flag, I want you to play the sound called Techno 2 until the song is over. But because it's in a forever loop, that means the song is going to repeat and it's just going to keep playing over and over and over forever. So if you want to listen to it, again, this green flag up in the top right corner will start your game. So go ahead and tap on that and you can see if it's working. All right, now let's get to the fun part. We want to be able to control our character today. So click on your character sprite. Mine's the dinosaur. Yours is probably something different, but the sprite is this icon down here. It's not the one up on the video game. So make sure you click on the one down here. If you tap that garbage can, it will delete your guide. If that accidentally happens, you can just come up here to edit and hit restore sprite, and it should bring it back, okay? But try to avoid that garbage can. All right, let's give this guy some coding blocks. So the first block he's going to need is the green flag again. And I know that that's yellow. So click on the yellow event circle, grab that green flag, the top block again, and pull that out, and drop that out in the center. I'll zoom in on mine so you can see it really well. The second coding block that we need is orange. So go to the orange control circle, and we're going to grab the forever loop again. That's the third block down, and put that right under your green flag. These two blocks are the blocks we use the most often. We'll probably get them 10 more times today. So try to remember where those two coding blocks are so that you get really comfortable with those. All right. Now I want to figure out how to build some code that says, if I press on the up key, the up arrow on my keyboard, I want my guy to go up and then fall back down. That's going to look like a jump. Okay, now this requires a lot of loops. The next block that we need is the if-then loop. So that's the fourth orange block down. Go ahead and bring that out and stick that inside your forever loop. And then the next thing that we need is a repeat loop. So the second orange block down, it says repeat 10. We actually need to bring out two of these. Now watch very closely where I place those. They're going to go inside the if-then loop, and they're stacked on top of each other. Now, if your repeat loops look like this, where it looks like one is like eating the other one, that's not going to work. That'll mess up your code. So make sure if you do that, grab that middle one and pull it out and drag it to where it looks like they're stacked on top of each other. I kind of think it looks like two dinosaur heads or something like that. All right. Now, I want this code to say, if I press on the up arrow, make my guy jump. So I know in this little shadow right here, I need to find a key that says pressing the up arrow. This is going to be in the sensing circle, which is the turquoise circle. And if you count down 7 blocks from the top, you'll see a block that says key space pressed. Bring that out and drop that inside your shadow right there. All right, now we're not using our space bar today. We're using our up arrow. So click on that and switch it to say up arrow. Okay, next thing. So now my code says, if my up arrow is pressed, then what happens? Well, I want my guy to move up. So go to your blue motion circle. All of the blue coding blocks are the ones that make our sprites move. And we're looking for a block that says change Y by 10. It's down towards the bottom of the blue blocks. And if you count up 7 from the bottom, you'll find it. Change Y by 10. You're going to bring out 2 of these, and they go inside each of your repeat loops. Now in Scratch, when you tell a sprite to change Y, that means you want it to move up and down. When you tell it to change X, that means you want it to move side to side. So right now our code says, all right, Mr. Dinosaur, or your character, if I press on the green flag, and if I press on the up arrow, I want you to change Y by 10, which means move up 10 steps, and then change Y by 10 again. So try it out. Turn on your green flag up here on your game. Oh, sorry, I'm going to remove my music so you don't have to listen to that. Turn on your green flag and then tap on the up arrow on your keyboard. And your guy should shoot up in the air. So it's kind of like a jump, right? He didn't fall back down, so we're halfway there. The problem is he went up 10 steps and then up 10 more steps. We need him to fall down. So drag your guy, hit your stop sign, drag your guy back down to the ground so he can start over. And on this bottom blue block, let's put a -10 there. Okay. Negative numbers make you move down. Positive numbers make you move up. So let's try it again. Turn your flag on again and hit your up arrow. Oh, that looks so much better. Boing, boing, boing. Now, just so that my guy always starts right here in the same spot each time, I'm going to add one more block. In your blue blocks, if you count down 5 blocks from the top, you'll see one that says, go to X and Y. Drag that out and just put that right underneath your green flag. That says, all right, guy, every time I click on the green flag, I want you to go to this exact spot right here. Your X and Y numbers are going to be different than mine because your character is in a different spot, and that's totally fine. But that way, like if my guy is up here in the sky, when I click on my flag, he'll go back down to his starting position. So that's good. All right, now go ahead and get your jump adjusted, okay? So in order to control how high you go and how slow you go, that's the number on the repeat loops. The bigger the number, the slower your jump will be. And you want the numbers to match. So let's turn both of the repeat loops up to 20 just to see what happens, okay? Turn my flag on, I'm going to try it again. Woo. Okay, that's much slower and much higher. Now try turning down the numbers on the blue blocks, okay? I'm going to try some 5s. So you want those numbers to match, but the bottom one will be negative. So I'm going to put a 5 and a -5. My code says that it should make my guy go up 5 steps and repeat that 20 times, then go down 5 steps and repeat that 20 times. So I'm going to try that now. Okay, so that made my jump a lot smaller, but it's still pretty slow. Let's say I want a super fast jump, okay? I'm going to turn my repeat loop down to like a 5, but then I'm going to make the number on my blue blocks all the way up to 30. Now my jump should be a lot quicker. Whoa, do you see that? So go ahead. There's not a right or a wrong way to do it. You can get it set to what you like. I'm going to do 15s on my repeat loops, and I'm going to do 10s on my blue blocks. Now, pause right here. If yours isn't working, what I want you to do is put in the exact same numbers as me, pause the video and double check and make sure all your numbers look the same as mine. If you're having a hard time, you can always grab a grown-up to help you out, okay? One thing to really be careful of is make sure that bottom blue block has a negative number on it. Okay, now let's go ahead. Once you've got that all adjusted, we're going to get our guy moving side to side. So we need to go get another green flag. So grab the yellow event or go to the yellow event circle and grab the green flag. Drag that out. We're going to start a new line of code over here. Okay, so you don't need to connect that flag to anything. I'm going to zoom in on this code so you can see it nice and clear. Now let's go to our orange control circle and get another forever loop. The reason we use forever loops so much is whatever code is inside of those will happen the entire time the game is going. If you don't have a forever loop, your code only works one time. So that's why we put most everything inside a forever loop. All right, now go and grab the 4th orange block down. That is the if-then loop. And we're going to bring out 2 of those, stack them on top of each other inside the forever loop. Make sure they're not inside of each other like that. You want those stacked on top of each other. Okay, now this top one, what I want it to say is, okay, Mr. Dinosaur, if I press on the left arrow, move to the left. So in this shadow right here, I need it to say pressing on the left arrow. So let's go to our sensing circle and grab that 7th block down again that says key space pressed and put that inside the shadow. Actually, you know what? While we're here, let's just grab it one more time and put it in our other shadow as well. Put it in both shadows. Okay, let's set the top one to our left arrow and the bottom one to our right arrow. All right, now remember what I said? Changing Y makes your guys move up and down. Changing X makes your guys move side to side. So let's find the block that says change X by 10. It's going to be in the blue motion circle. Scroll down to the bottom of those blue blocks and then count up 9 from the bottom and you'll find it. Change X by 10. Bring out 2 of those and place them inside both of your if-then loops. Now be very careful. A lot of people accidentally sometimes grab the change Y by 10. Look right now and make sure both of your blue blocks say change X. Okay, now let's go ahead and test it out. Turn your green flag on and try tapping your left and your right arrows on your keyboard. It's not working, right? My dinosaur is just only moving to the right, even when I hit the left key. So we need to fix that. Now in Scratch, positive numbers move you to the right, Negative numbers move you to the left. So on this left arrow code, change that number to a negative number. Let's try a -10. Now my code says, okay, if I click on the green flag and if I press on the left arrow, make my guy move to the left 10 steps. If I press on the right arrow, make my guy move to the right 10 steps. So I'm going to give that a try. Yes. Okay, now it's working. Now let's do something fun. Try jumping at the same time. Now I can hit my up arrow and my left and right keys, and I can get moving and jumping side to side. Now I'm noticing my guy is only facing one direction. Let's make it so he can face both directions, okay? The first thing I want you to do is right here above your sprites, you have something that says direction. You might have a different number than me, but click on that number. And to see these little arrows facing each other, go ahead and turn those on. This is turning on the ability to have our guy turn side to side. Yours might already be on, but double check it and make sure those are turned on. Now, in your blue motion circle, about halfway down, you have a block that says point in direction 90. We're going to bring out 2 of these and stack those on top of our other blue blocks. This tells our guy which way to face. So on your top one, go ahead and click on that number 90. See how our arrow is pointed to the right? Let's swing that arrow to the left, and it should say -90 now. And on our bottom one, our right arrow code, click on it again. Okay, my arrow's pointed to the right, so I don't need to move that one. All right, let's turn it on now. Turn your game on and try going side to side. Okay, perfect. Now, when I hit my arrow keys, my guy is turning, which looks much more realistic, right? Okay, that is the code that you need for getting your guy moving side to side and jumping up and down. And you can use this in any project. Maybe today you're building an animal game, but tomorrow you want to build, a game with people. You could use this exact same code and put it on different sprites. All right, now let's go ahead and get something that we're trying to collect. Okay, we've got to make our game fun, right? We're going to be trying to collect something today. So let's go down to that little cat face again in the bottom right corner, and let's pick out a new sprite. So since I'm using a dinosaur, I'm going to try to have my dinosaur eating some food. So I'm going to go up to the food category. But if you want something different, maybe you're using a kid and you want to have him collecting baseballs or something like that. It can be anything you like. Okay, I think my dinosaur probably likes eating strawberries. So I'm going to grab this strawberry sprite. Oh, wait, tacos. I'm going to go with tacos. I'm going to grab the taco sprite, click on the one that you want, and it's probably way too big again. So go ahead and turn the size down. Remember right above the sprites where it says size 100, I'm going to turn my taco down to a 20. Okay. Now, since we're jumping today, it'll be really fun if we make the items that we're trying to collect a little bit higher than our guy, and we have to jump up and get those. So go ahead and drag your food item or whatever it is you're trying to collect down to the left. Actually, let's do the right side of the screen, down kind of low. Now I need to make sure my guy can actually jump up high enough to eat it, because it's going to be shooting across the screen in a straight line. So like if I put my taco clear up here, my dinosaur wouldn't be able to get it. So make sure it's down low enough that they can get it, or adjust your jump and make your jump bigger or smaller. All right, now let's give some code to our new sprite, okay? And if you're going, where did all my code go? It's over on your character. So if you click on your character, your code is still there, but our new sprite, we haven't given any code yet. All right, let's go to the yellow circle and bring out a new green flag, and then go to the orange control circle and bring out another forever loop. Now I want to add some code that tells this item to always start over here on the right side of the screen and then shoot across to the left side of the screen. So the first block we're going to go get is in the blue motion circle, and it's the 5th block down. It says go to X and Y. Put that inside your forever loop. Now, this is the one that we put on our main character at the beginning. It says, every time I click on the green flag, I want you to go to this exact position that I have you in right now. So for example, if my taco's clear up here, but I click on my green flag to start my game, he's going to go back to that position. Now, my next step is to give it some code to tell it to glide across the screen. Now, this step is really important, okay? If you skip this step, your code won't work. So if you're trying to catch up, pause the video for a second. All right, go up and grab the item and drag it all the way across the screen and drop it off on the other side. Okay, try to keep it about the same level, not too high, not too low. Now, in your blue motion circle, count down 7 blocks. You'll see a block that says glide 1 second to X and Y. Put that right underneath your other blue block. Now, see how those X and Y numbers are different than the top ones? When you moved your item, the X and Y numbers changed over here in your code for you. So that's great. So go ahead and turn your flag on now and let's see what happens. Okay, I have flying tacos. It's like a taco gun is shooting those across the screen. Now, if you want to slow down how fast those are coming out, that's going to be your glide speed right here. So it takes 1 second for that item to get across the screen. If you want to make it slower, turn that number up to like a 3 or a 4. I'm going to go ahead and do a 3. That's going to make it go a lot slower, which is going to be a little bit easier for me to jump up and grab. Okay, our next thing that we need to do is to build some code that says if our guy touches that item that's flying, what do we want to have happen? So let's go grab another green flag, drop that off to the side of the code that you just created, and then go to your, sorry, that's in the yellow circle, by the way, and then go to the orange control circle and grab the forever loop again, that third block down. All right, for this specific code, we need to use the if-then loop, and that's going to be the 4th orange block down. Bring out the if-then loop and put it inside your forever loop. Okay, this if-then loop is so helpful because we're going to use it to say if the item, for me, the taco, touches my guy, play a fun sound effect and give me some points. So in the little shadow right here, I want to find a block that says touching my character, my guy, whoever that is. So let's go to the sensing circle, the turquoise one, and grab the top block. This is called the touching block, and it's always set to touching mouse pointer. Bring that out and put that in the shadow. After you bring it out into your code, you can click on the drop-down menu and set it to the sprite that you want. So since I'm on my taco right now, I'm going to say if my taco touches the dinosaur. So I'm going to pick dinosaur. So pick whoever your character is. All right. If touching my guy, then what? Well, I want a sound effect to play. So let's go up to the sound circle. That's this pinkish purple one. And we're going to grab the top block. It says play sound pop until done. Bring that out and put that inside your if then loop. Okay, go ahead and test it out. What should happen is you should be able to jump up, and when you touch that item, you'll hear a little pop sound. Now, I don't really like the pop sound. I want something different. So let's go back to the Scratch library and pick that out. So go up to your sound tab in the top left corner, and then down to that blue circle in the bottom left. Okay, remember, these are where all of our sound effects are at. They're organized in categories at the top. I'm going to pick one called, I'm going to use the coin one. Kind of reminds me of Mario. So when you find the one you want, click on it. Pause this video if you want to go listen to a bunch of those. And then after you click on it, now you can see it's over here in your left menu. Okay, so go back to your code tab in the top left corner, and then in your drop-down menu on that block, you should have your new sound effect that you picked out. Okay, another thing I want to have happen is I want to have a score, and I want that score to go up. So let's go to our variable circle. This is where you can create things like timers, scores, high scores. So right now, let's make a variable that's keeping track of our score. So click on make a variable, and you could call this just score. For me, maybe I'll call it taco points. You can call it whatever you want. I'll just do score to help keep it simple for the rest of you, but you can give it a funny name if you want to. Now, see how up on my game, now I have something that says score 0. Okay, now go ahead and grab the block that says change my variable by 1. We're going to put that on top of our purple sound block. So it's inside the if-then loop, but it's on top of the purple block. And we're not dealing with my variable, I'm dealing with score. I want my score to change by 1. So whatever you called your score, switch the orange block to say that. Okay, now what should happen is when I jump up, I should get a point. Hey, I just got 2 points. So go ahead and test it out and make sure that's working. If it's not working, pause the video and look over all your code and make sure it looks a lot like mine, okay? Obviously, your words will be a little bit different, but make sure your blocks are in the same order as mine. Okay, now one thing I'm noticing is when I click on my flag to start a new game, my score is stuck. It's not starting over at 0. So grab this block that says set my variable to 0 and drag that out and put that under your green flag. So it's on top of your forever loop, but under your green flag. And then change that to whatever your score is called. Okay, now let's read this entire code. It says, okay, Taco, when the green flag is clicked, set my score to 0. Then, for the entire rest of the game, forever and ever, if you are ever touching my character, change my score by 1 and then play a sound effect. Okay, so all of those things should be happening. Okay, now we need to get some sort of item that's kind of like the enemy or the bad item that we want to dodge. So let's go down to the little cat face again and do choose a sprite. So go ahead and pick something that's bad that you don't want to be collecting. This could be a kind of gross food or maybe an animal. It could be anything you want. I'm going to go with a snake, maybe? Well, maybe I'll go with, oh, I don't know. This is hard. I'm going to go with watermelon. Okay. So once you've got that item up on your game, go ahead and adjust the size again. Remember, I want to probably turn mine down so it's more the size of the taco. And then we want this item to do pretty much the same thing as our first item that's shooting across the sky. So I can build all of this code all over again over here on my watermelon, or I can just do a little shortcut and I can just drag this code over. So if you want to do that, I love shortcuts. Make your code really tiny by using these magnifying glasses in the bottom right corner. Code is a lot easier to move when it's small. And then grab the green flag. If you grab down low, it breaks your code apart. So make sure you grab the top block and drag that code onto your new sprite. You'll want both of them. Go get both lines of code that we created. Now, when I go over to my new sprite, both of the pieces of code are there. They're just stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to grab that flag again and spread them out. Okay, now I have the exact same code. So let's see what happens. I'm going to turn my flag on. Uh-oh. Goodness, we have a problem. See how my watermelon and my taco are stacked on top of each other? That's because they have the exact same code as each other. So let's just modify this code a little bit on our new sprite. So instead of having it glide at 3 seconds, I'm going to change my glide speed for this one. Maybe I want my watermelon coming out a lot. I want it to go really fast. So I'm going to turn the number down really low. I'm going to try a 1.5. That's 1.5 seconds. Okay, there we go. So now my tacos are slow, but my watermelons are fast. You might want to do it the opposite. Just go ahead and get that speed adjusted to whatever you like. And then you may want to change the sound effect. So I have my coin sound effect set on this sprite. Well, when I hit my bad item, I want like a or something like that. So let's go back up into our sound tab in the top left corner. And then back down to the bottom left corner to choose a sound. And let's go pick out like a bad sound. I'm going to go with this one called alert. Okay, pause the video while you're testing out your sound effects. Once you've clicked on it, you've got to go back to your code tab. Remember, up here in the top left corner. And then on your drop-down menu, you should have that new sound effect that you chose. Okay, another thing that I see that I need to fix is it's telling me, since I'm on my watermelon right now, it's telling me every time I hit it that I should change my score by 1. Well, I want my score to go down when I hit it because it's a bad thing. So if we put a negative number there, like a -1, then your score will go down. Okay, so go ahead and maybe pause the video, test it out, and see if everything's working well for you. If something's not working, always pause the video and go look at each line of code and make sure you have everything in the right order and that it matches mine. Okay, guys, we're almost done. Our final thing that we need to add is our winning code and our losing code. So I like to do this on my character. So go ahead and click on your character sprite, and you might need to drag your code around to make some room. And let's go to our yellow event circle and bring out a new green flag. And then we're going to need 2 loops. So I know the loops are in the orange control circle. And we're going to start off with our forever loop. So grab that one out and connect that to your green flag. And then go to the 4th block down. That's your if then loop again, and bring that out. Okay, now I'm going to use this if then loop to say, if my score equals 10, then I win. So inside the shadow here, I've got to figure out how to get that to say score equals 10. Now there is an equal sign in the green operator circle. So click on that green operator circle, and if you count down 8 blocks from the top, you'll find one that says blank equals 50. Bring that out and drop that in the shadow, okay? Now this number 50 right here, that's how many points you need to win. So I'm going to change mine to, I'm going to go with 12 today. You can put any number you want there. Okay, now I know in this white circle right here, I need that to say score or whatever your points are called up on your game. And that's going to be, remember, in the variable circle. So click on that dark orange variable circle, and at the very top, you should see your little score coding block. Bring that out and drop that in the first white circle. Okay, now my code says if my score equals 12, then what do I want to have happen? Well, I'm going to have my dinosaur say something funny, like, you win, good job, or something like that. So go up to the looks circle. That's the second circle down. Grab that top coding block that says say hello for 2 seconds. Bring that out and drop that inside your if then loop. This is a little voice bubble, like a speech bubble that's going to come out of your character, and he's going to say something when you win. So you could type anything you want here. Mine's going to say, I love tacos. You win. You could just type congratulations, or if you want to just type something short, you could put yay, which is just Y-A-Y, if you don't want to type something long. Okay, now I also think I want him to say a message when the game begins also. So I'm going to grab that exact same block again that says say hello for 2 seconds, but this time I'm going to stick it right under my green flag. That way, every time I click on the green flag, he'll say something. So it could say like, good luck, or let's go. Mine's going to say, eat the tacos, avoid the watermelons. Okay, let's test it out. Click on your green flag and see if your guy says his little message. And then if you want, try to get up to the number that you need to win and see if the winning message comes up. Okay, so go ahead and pause and work on that for a minute. Now there's a final block that we need to add when you come back. This is our stop all block. So it's going to be in the orange control circle, and it's the 4th block up from the bottom. This tells your video game to end. So I'm going to put that right underneath my winning message. So that way my winning message will come up for 2 seconds, then the game will end. The music will stop, your guy won't move anymore. So that way you know that it's game over. Okay, now our losing code is very similar to this. So instead of building it all over again, I'm going to duplicate this code and then just edit that. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so if you'd like to duplicate your code, you need to put your mouse on the top block of the coding sequence you want to duplicate, and then right-click it. So that's just the other button on your mouse. If you have a laptop and you're just using a mouse pad, sometimes clicking with 2 fingers works, or try holding down the control button and then clicking. Sometimes that works, or you might need to grab an adult. But right-click, and then hit duplicate. Now I have this whole new copy of code. If you can't figure out how to do that, you could build that piece of code again if you'd like to. Okay, so now I've got to figure out what is my number that I need to get to in order to lose. So my score starts out at 0. So I don't want to build some code that says, if my score equals 0, I lose, because I'm already at 0 when I begin. I'm going to say my score has to get to -3, and that's when I lose. So inside this little green block, I'm going to put a -3 there. Now, if I lose, what do I want my losing message to say? So instead of, I love tacos, I'm going to change that to say, you are dead. Try again. You could just put game over or try again, something short like that if you'd want. But now if my score gets to -3, I'll have a message comes up that says, you're dead, try again, and then my game will end. Now, if you're going, I don't like that negative number. I want my game to always give me a score of 3 when I begin. Well, go back to your Well, we'll have to change it in two places. See how on your taco and your watermelon, you have a block that said, or sorry, your two sprites, you don't have a taco and a watermelon. You have right under your green flag a block that says set score to 0. Maybe when you start your game, you want it to be set to 3. Go ahead on each of those two sprites, your second and third sprites, change that to a 3. Well, now every time I click on my flag, my score starts at 3. Then on my losing code, I could put a 0 there. Now I'll always be at 3, but if I get to 0, that's when I lose. So those are two different ways you can do it. The cool thing about these games that we're creating is after you get all done building it with me, you can go back in, you can change the speeds, you can change how fast you move, and you can always add your own code if you'd like to do that more later. So that's the cool thing about Scratch. Okay, now a couple of things. Before we say goodbye, we need to save your game. You can only save your game if you have a Scratch account, okay? So look up in the top right corner. If you see your username there, that means you're signed in. If it says sign in or log in, that means you're not signed into your account. If you're signed in, up at the top right in the middle, I don't have it on my screen, but you'll have a big green button that says Remix. Click on that Remix button and it will save this game to your Scratch account. So next time you log into Scratch, you should see that project there. You can always go in and change the code, or you can email it to friends and family and share it with people. So that's a lot of fun. If you'd like to play your game and make it full screen and a lot bigger, up in the top right corner, you've got these 4 arrows. Go ahead and turn those on, and then your game will be a lot bigger. And you can let people at your house test out your game and see how they like it, okay? All right. Awesome job, everybody. So a couple of announcements before we leave. Next week, we'll be releasing another video where we'll be learning some new code. We'll still make a complete video game, but it will have some new things in it that you haven't learned how to build yet. We do have another video that's intro to coding. If you want to go check that out, we created a different type of video game last week. So that could be something fun you could do after this class if you're hungry for a little bit more coding. And then just a reminder, we have a Facebook group now where you can go and you can share your projects. You can have your parents share the link to your project so other kids can go check it out. Before you do that, you do have to share your project. See how up here at the top of my screen, I have a big orange button that says share. You've got to click that. If you don't click that, your project isn't shareable, okay? So once you click that share button, you can come over here to copy link, and you can copy and paste that link into the Facebook group. Or when you're in your project, you can literally just copy and paste the address that's up in your web browser. And that will make it so people can click on that link and see what your game looks like and check out your code. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And last thing, if you ever want to try a live class with us, there's a link in the video description that will take you to a place where you can sign up for live classes. Those are held several times a week. They're a lot